Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Franchise Your Success. My name is Marjorie Roman, and we have our amazing, the one and only Dan Olsen in the house.
Oh, this is a great house to be in too. I just enjoy being here with you and the team. It's just you guys are been amazing to me. I appreciate that.
Oh,
Thank you.
Dan, so sweet of you. Thank you so much again for sharing always your knowledge about franchises. We feel like we are getting ready every single day when we hear you. So one of the questions that we got on social media was about the financial side of things. How do we fund our franchise? Where do we
hmm
get the money for a franchise? So we understand that there's something called ROBS, ROBS. What is that?
Yeah, so I look at that. There's a lot of different ways. It's money that you're putting into an account, usually going tax free, so that when you retire, you can pull it out at a certain point. But and we look at it as a 401k or some IRA or whatever different method or tool that you use for that. And here's the key thing. Let's just talk a little bit of what happens with that money. So if you're in a company and you're investing some of your earnings into that, and they may be even matching it sometimes, dollar for dollar or 50 cents on the dollar or whatever it is, but at least it's going into that account tax free and it's growing. But what's your return on that? It's building. You don't have to pay usually the taxes on it, but and I'm not a tax expert, so maybe get with a tax person to make sure you get proper instructions on how that works for your particular situation. But the idea is that it continues to grow. And so all of a sudden you got $150,000 or $200,000 in it as it starts to grow. And you're getting your 5%, 6, 7, 8, maybe 10% growth on it. Well, that's great. But does that 401k plan for 200, 300, or 400, even if you had $1 million in there, is it going to be sufficient for you by the time you retire in 20, 30, even 40 years, whatever it is? Is it going to be sufficient for your retirement? And usually the case is no. So how do you leverage that? I mean, it's your money. Someone else is taking your money, hard-earned money, and investing it into their programs, and they're getting a return on it. Sure, they're giving you a return back, but is it really sufficient? Is it proper use of that? And so a lot of the people that we have coming in the world of franchising, many of them are corporate people. They've been, they're 30 or 35 or 40, 45, 50, even 60 years old, and they've saved and they put money into these corporate retirement accounts, and it's just building, but it's not sufficient for them to retire. The other thing that's happening is they're getting tired of working in the corporate life.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're thinking, man, I've got enough experience now. How would it be for me to jump out and buy a business or be in business for myself or acquire a franchise? A lot of them will acquire a franchise. And so they come to us and they say, well, how can I fund my franchise? And we come back and we tell them, well, let's take a look at your 401k. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at that balance because that's your money. And we have ways to access that.
And it's legal ways to
free.
Actually do that.
Yeah. Should we go into that? I mean, how we access it?
Yeah.
Tax-free.
How do you access that?
And without the penalties from the IRS. There are several professional companies out there. That's all they specialize in, is getting your money from your 401k into your pocket. And the way that works is when we always let the professionals handle it. And we can refer you to several top companies that have done this for many, many years, because once again, it's your money. And why would you want to do that? First of all, number one, as I mentioned, you may not have enough money at retirement at the end anyway if you continue with using that tool. Number two, what happens if 2008 and 2009 happens again where you lose 40 to 50% of what's in that? I mean, so you're willing to take a chance if you got 200,000 in there and all of a sudden it drops to 100,000?
Oof, no. Definitely
because someone else is managing your money for you. So the way that it works, you can take your money and you can manage it and you can oversee it and you'll do usually a better job than someone else. Believe it or not, you'll do a better job because depending on the investment vehicle, and of course we're franchising is our investment vehicle we talk about. So the way it happened, if you align yourself with a professional, and we'll give you tons of those people to work with. You align yourself with one of those. What they do is they set up a C corporation
Hmm.
for you.
Oh, wow.
And so that costs a little money. So there's a little fees up front. It's not significant, but there's a few fees up front. So they set up the C Corp. Then they file the IRS guidelines of what needs to happen so that the IRS is cool with it. And then within that C corporation, they set up your own 401k or retirement plan or whatever within that.
Oh.
And you as the CEO, or you as the officer or chairman or whatever you want to call yourself of your C corporation, this is just one way. Seems to be the most popular way right now. So as the officer overseeing that, guess what? You get to call your own shots on how your retirement fund is invested. Now, it has to be invested in business or something that's going to give you a return back. But so where do people invest their money once they set up that C Corp? They set it up, a lot of people, into a franchise program. So it funds their whole franchise. So even if you had, say, $200,000 in that fund, you pull out half of it. Still keep some diversified, keep that 401k moving forward so you haven't lost all your retirement. But now you've pulled some of it out and you use that as a down payment and tap into some other funding like SBA loans and any number of things that you can use to fund a franchise with. But that becomes your down payment or part of your down payment and operating capital, say that 100,000 roughly, depends on the franchise, of course. So now you've funded the franchise, you're jumping in, and now you open it up, and it can be run in most cases, depending on which franchise you choose, semi-absentee owned. So that means you're spending fewer hours per week managing that franchise, which allows you to now get a return, and your time, you're not spending a lot of time on it, so it gets a return on your time as well as your money. So the determination as you work with that different franchise company is what is your expected return on the money you have. And usually the returns are very, very good because you're managing it instead of someone else, and you're following a system and getting the support of that franchise company. And it makes it very easy to pull that out without the tax consequences if you do it right, use the professional and put it into your own fund. And that allows you to invest in your own self.
That's right.
Investing in yourself, I've found, is the best investment you can make.
Oh, magnificent. So, and it's amazing that you actually have the option to do so with your 401k. I feel like most people don't know that they can actually access it in a really nice legal way. So you can fund other investments. So now that we're accessing these 401k, then what does that mean for a retirement plan? Because I feel like most people, they rely on their 401k for retirement. Now, if you have your C corporation and you're investing franchising, now what happens with your retirement plan?
So
What options do you have?
yeah, so that's a great question. So like as I mentioned, if your retirement plan, if you don't pull it all out, your retirement plan continues to grow. And you can still keep, if you've got a job or you're still working it, because like I said, a lot of times you're working the franchise business semi-absentee owned. So you can continue to work your job. You can continue to do that. So you're still building that retirement plan if you want. You don't have to. And you're building a business as an investment, not a job. You're building that on the side, semi-absentee owned. You might be putting 4, 5, 6 hours a week on it. I have a franchise right now, for example, that I have a single unit franchise as well as other master franchise investments. But I'm thinking of my single unit franchise that I spend maybe 2 hours a week in it.
Oh, wow.
And so it gives me a phenomenal return. I mean, I was just looking at the numbers last night. I was ecstatic. I mean, the numbers were just increasing all the time. So, and I have a manager that runs it for me, and he reports to me, and we spend a couple hours a week doing things, and he's helping me with all these different things. And so it's just been phenomenal for me to see that as I've done this over the years. But also I see this young manager that I have in here growing as well. And I have other investments over here and other investments over here. But the franchise investments for me have been my best because I'm not putting as much time into as I would a job, because I have my other things I'm doing in franchise world, especially. but I'm able to leverage my time so that I get a way better investment than I was getting in my 401k. And I've done this, as a matter of fact. And so the question may come out is, okay, so I've only got X amount in my 401k plan. Is it worth it for me to access that? And usually the rule of thumb, and that changes a little bit from different companies. The rule of thumb is if you got 40,000 in a 401k plan or more, it's usually worth it to grab that, because some of the franchises you can invest in are lower cost franchises. So you can actually jump in for that 40 grand into a franchise and leverage that and have the success hopefully that you're looking for.
That's right. And it's amazing that you actually have more control over how much your retirement plan is going to grow, because all of those funds that you're investing into your franchise, you get to decide how big or how small you want to have for your income. So that way, when you retire, you can just be super happy. And I feel like it depends also on the person, because like everyone has different goals, everyone has different needs when it comes to retirement. So it allows you to grow it tailored to what you actually need.
Yeah, exactly. The retirement, you got to look and see, okay, so I'm going to be better off letting this grow at 5, 6, 7, 8% per year, or what happens when it takes a dive?
Oof,
Am I going to be happy with that?
probably not.
Or do I invest 50, 60, 70, 80,000 in a franchise and leverage that with some financing? And I see much higher returns based on my performance. It's always depending on you and how well you interact with that franchise company. And I can't give any particular numbers because each franchise is different. But if you look at some of these franchises that are doing, I mean, just you can look right in their franchise disclosure documents. It's disclosed in there legally. And they're doing $1 million a year in sales plus. So you take a nice little profit percentage of that, and you only invested a portion of that into it, and you look at the returns on investment, they're phenomenal. Way better than what you can do sitting there. And so then you have a true retirement plan. I've not really spent a lot of time myself. I was doing the corporate gig myself, years ago, and I put in the money in the 401k. And in fact, I was just notified the other day, I still have money sitting in a 401k plan. It's just kind of grown over the years, and
Oh, wow.
I guess I need to pull it out. But what I've found is the best retirement plan is investing in your own business, which means investing in the company that you've so carefully chosen, and they've chosen you. And once again, you're investing in yourself, the confidence in yourself, because you've aligned yourself with a company that cares about you and wants to see you succeed.
That's amazing. And I feel like it's amazing how franchising doesn't feel like a business. It feels more like that amazing family that wants you to grow as
Yes.
much as possible. So what are some of the requirements to have access to an ROBS, or as they also
Yeah.
call it, I believe it's rollover as a business startup,
Mhm.
right? So how do you have access to it? What are some of the requirements? I remember you mentioning that if you have 40K on your 401k, then by all means go for it. What other requirements are there?
Yeah, so you want to have some minimum amount, and when I did mine years ago, that was what they told me, and so that might be a little bit higher these days. So don't. I guess it'll be the professional that you go to, the company, and like I said, we'll share with you exact sources. In fact, we had one come in the other day who's looking at acquiring a franchise over in Georgia, and they knew nothing about this. And so as we enlightened them on how this works, oh yeah, we have that 401k. That really makes a lot of sense. It's our money. We ought to be able to invest that how we want. So how does this work? So I said, check with this company and this company and this company, and you choose how you want to do it. And sure enough, they checked with it. I got an email back from the company, said, hey, is this your candidate? And I said, yeah, these are our candidates. And it's great working with them. We're going to be able to help them. We're going to be able to help them succeed. And so, but basically, that's all we do is we put them with the professionals. They take them through the whole process. And it's pretty simple. Now, here's the thing that happens. It usually takes, and if it's streamlined, it usually takes about 4 weeks. So you got to be prepared for that. That's one of the things. Like, let's say you're really excited about let's say that you're going through the franchise process and you've been into it for a month now, and now you're looking at pulling the trigger and jumping in, but oh, I got to have my money ready to go on my 401k. Usually you want to start that before. So you don't, if you think you're going to go for a franchise, whether it's the one you're looking at now or something later, it's nice to have that money in place. So we suggest if you think that you're going to get into a franchise or some type of business investment, maybe even real estate, I know they use it for real estate too, it may be, and talk to the professionals and they'll walk you through it, but it may be good to start that process now so that you can pull the trigger. Because normally when you're ready to go and you have another 4 or 5 week period of time where you're just sitting there waiting for them to get your 401, your C Corp set up and other things they've got to do, the IRS approval of the new program, get all that back. It takes about 4 to 5 weeks. So you want to start it well in advance and not wait to, oh, I'm ready to sign on the dotted line. And then you have to wait another 4 or 5 weeks to do that. Start it early in the process.
That's right. Because like you want to make sure that you have all your funding options ready to go just whenever there's a new opportunity, because franchise opportunities are always coming. So I feel like it's really important for our future franchisees right there looking at us, that they need to have all of those funds ready to go.
Right.
Opportunities are coming every single time. So you don't want to miss out on that. So talking about using these funds from your 401k or retirement plan, what are some of the benefits from using those funds?
Well, the biggest benefit is there's no interest payment.
Oh, why is that?
Because it's your money. Sure, you may not be getting your 5 or 6, 7% return over here as part of your fund that's growing tax-free, but it may be sitting here in your own fund for right now. And sure, you may not be getting those interest payments or growth, but you're not paying any interest either. So then you get the chance over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 months, even though you've missed a little bit of that interest, but you've got your funds sitting there ready to go. When you do invest it and you're ready to go, boom, 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 and you work the franchise and you work that system and you get their support and help, now you start seeing a return, hopefully, on what you've done. And it's much quicker, usually, than waiting for that end game of that investment return on your 401k.
That's right. And let's say that you pass away. All of those funds that you've been collecting, you never got to actually enjoy them. But with a franchise, with a franchise, all the income that you keep receiving, you get to actually enjoy the fruits of your work.
Correct.
What about the taxes? Are there any taxes then on getting one of these funds?
Not if you do it right. Not if you, like I said, we'll give you some of our sources. We freely give those, and have aligned ourselves with some of the best professionals in the company, or actually in the world, or at least the United States, because every country is different, that know the laws of the United States, that know how to fit this in, but more specifically, they're specializing in the franchise world. And so they know what you need to do, and you just put your hands or yourself in the hands of these professionals, and they're very, very good at what they do, and they take you right through it. And it's just a pleasant process to go through, and it's actually exciting. There's certain ones, actually. Here's another one that they do. One of them we worked with is actually, not only did they get you tapped into the 401k, but they also get in lines of credit. And banks that they have relationships with. So they actually help you with that process above and beyond what's those fees. But the difference there, of course, is with a line of credit, you would need to pay some interest on it when you use that.
But the cool thing is that we also have the option of using our 401k funds. And then again, it's so amazing how it comes to how much your franchise family wants to grow. And we have so many, usually with families, when you need some help from one of your relatives, you can just go ahead and ask him, because they have a specific set of skills that can help you towards your goals. And it's the same with the franchise. And it's amazing how we have that huge network of people that are so happy to help you along the process of funding or choosing the right fit.
Right.
And I feel like it also allows you to grow your retirement funds as much as your business grows.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so that's the thing I like to see. And I've seen this happen many, many times, where people have $400,000 in their 401k and they're just plodding along, but and they're getting into their 50s, and but that's not enough to retire on. How are you going to retire on $400,000? There's no way. Well, unless you just close yourself off and go and live off your whatever. But
water every day, I guess.
but the thing is, take half that out. What does it hurt? So sure, you may have, but there's no guarantee that you're not going to lose that in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years down the road. And it's cut in half anyway, because the value has gone down like it did in times past. And not only in 2008, 2009, but I've seen it happen earlier too, like in 1990, whenever that was. But anyway, you see that value just drop. So why not invest in yourself, pull some of that out, and be ready for that opportunity when you are. And then you've still got that security of the 200,000 sitting in there, but now you've got 200,000 to jump into something very, very special, and there's no interest on it. And so you have no pay. And if you can get into a franchise for 200,000, for example, everything total, then you have no interest payment, and you have no interest, you have no principal payment. And so the cash flow can be even bigger. And it gives you a much higher chance of success because you're using your own money. Obviously, you can leverage other people's money, but a lot of people will start these with just one franchise using the 401k, and then they get their second, third, fourth, and fifth ones and have a little mini empire because the financing now can kick in sometimes almost 100%.
Oh, wow.
And then they can start paying that principal interest payment, but they've got this solid base that they've already started with the one franchise.
That's amazing. So yeah, then again, to all our viewers and listeners out there on this podcast, you can grow your own empire and you can grow your retirement funds as much as you want. So like the opportunities are just limitless with franchises.
Yes.
Thank you so much again, Dan. Super excited to learn more about the different ways that we can actually get into the amazing world of franchising.
It is amazing. You know what? I would just do one homework assignment, and that is check with us, or you can Google it, or however you want to do it, is look at 401k rollover programs or retirement rollover programs for investing in businesses. You can Google it, or just come to us. We'll give you some boom. We'll give you the sources right now. And they're not secret, but they're out there, but it may save you a lot of time. We can give you people to go to right now. And check it out. I would say if you have any type of 401k plan or any type of retirement, check it out, because it will reward you in the future by having a higher return on investment if you can produce that nice income through the franchise that you invest in. So start right now checking it out.
Amazing. And yes, we're going to make sure to do that homework for sure. Thank you so much to our audience, and we are going to see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.